The promise of Stoic mental toughness. What? If I told you there is a proven method for building ironclad, mental toughness used by Roman emperors, and available at no cost to you, the answer is Stoicism, a 2,000-year-old system that teaches you methods you can use to become as strong as iron and as tough as steel. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly how you can use it to develop the kind of mental toughness that turns your life around and helps how you become a winner. Stoicism is a practical system, a toolkit for the mind forged in the fires of the real world and designed from the ground up to bind destructible it. Here's what most people get wrong about mental toughness. They think it's about gritting your teeth and powering through with pure willpower, but willpower is finite, it runs out, and when it does, you're left more vulnerable than before. Stoicism works differently. Instead of relying on brute force, it builds genuine results through three core skills: the fatal flaw of willpower on my emotional intelligence, rational thinking, and virtue-based action. Think of it like if this willpower is a sprint that leaves you exhausted. Stoicism is endurance training that makes you stronger with every challenge. Let me show you exactly what this looks like. Imagine you receive harsh criticism at work. The tough it out approach tells you to ignore it and not let it affect you. But here's the Stoic approach. First, you pause and examine the criticism objectively. Is it valid feedback you can learn from? If yes, you use it to improve. If no, you recognize it says more about them than you. Either way, you're choosing your response instead of reacting blindly. Is the crucial difference. Reactive illness versus intelligent resiliency leaves you defenseless when your willpower breaks. The other makes you stronger every time you use it. The handling criticism. Stoic foundation of Stoic mental toughness is this simple truth: you can't control what happens to you, but you absolutely control how you respond. Most people waste enormous energy fighting things outside their control. Other people's opinions traffic through other. The past Stoics focus 100% of their energy on what they can actually influence: their thoughts, actions, and character. Here show this transforms obstacles into focus. Vis control, transforming obstacles into opportunities. A posture. Instead of asking why is this happening to me when something goes wrong, you ask how can I use this to become stronger. This single shift in perspective changes everything. And suppose you lose your job. Instead of spiraling into panic, you ask, what doors might this open? How can I use this to pursue work that aligns with my values? Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly. What stands in the way becomes the way. The response is where your true power lives, not in controlling external events, but in choosing how you think, feel, and act in response to them. First step in building out your mental toughness is to ditch the victim mentality. True mental toughness is allergic to that. When something goes wrong, and something will go wrong eventually, the knee-jerk reaction is often to complain, to blame others, to feel sorry for ourselves. But that's precisely the moment to pause and from instead of seeing every obstacle as a roadblock, ask yourself, what opportunity does this present? What lesson can I learn? How can I use this to become stronger? And in a word, better, Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations puts it beautifully: the impediment to action advances action, what stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that for a moment. The very thing that seems to be blocking you is actually paving the path forward. This way of reframing is where that potential lies: the power to choose your attitude, to choose your actions, to choose to learn and grow. This is mental toughness in action. This is Stoicism, transferring obstacles into opportunities. This visualization to conquer anxiety. Now I'll teach you a counterintuitive technique for dealing with anxiety. Negative visualization. As people try to stay positive by avoiding negative thoughts, Stoics do the opposite. They deliberately imagine worst case scenarios to rob fear of its power. Here's why this works: anxiety thrives on uncertainty. When you're afraid of something vague and undefined, your imagination creates monsters far scarier than reality. Negative visualization forces You to examine your fears in daylight where you discover they're usually manageable or even survivable. Here's how to practice it if, for example, you had to give a big talk. Didn't just visualize success, also imagine what if the technology fails, what? If someone asks a question, I can't answer, what if I stumble over my words, then create backup plans for each scenario. Test your equipment beforehand, prepare answers for likely questions. Practice the difficult sections of your speech by confronting potential setbacks before they happen. You inoculate yours against panic. You've already considered the worst plan for it and proven to yourself you can handle it. Seneca called this rehearsing defendistal. It's one of the most powerful anxiety reduction tools ever developed. Seneca, in his letters from a Stoic, urged his readers to rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all theorems of our human lot should be before your eyes. He wasn't advocating for dwelling in misery. He was advocating for mental preparation, which builds toughness. And how can we become a maximally tough? The Stoics believed the virtue as foundation answer lies in virtue, but not virtue. In some abstract, dusty, outdated sense for Stoics, virtue is practical, it's actionable, and it's the very foundation of inner strength. Why does virtue matter? Because virtue for a Stoic isn't about being good to please someone else or to follow arbitrary rules. It's about aligning your actions with what is inherently good and rational. It's about living in accordance with nature, as they would say. And when you do that, you'll create a sense of purpose, of meaning that's unshakable. Think of it like this. If your actions are constantly driven by fear, by anger, be the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, the hour, always at the mercy of external circumstance, you're a ship tossed about by the waves. But if your actions are rooted in virtue and wisdom, justice and courage, for example, you become thinker, you gain stability, regardless of what life throws your way. If you're wondering how we develop virtue, I can tell you how it starts with conviction. You need to consciously decide what your core principles are. What kind of person do you want to be? What values do you want to embody? This isn't a passive process. It requires self-reflection. Think hard on this, write down your answers, make it concrete, but conviction is only the first step. Real work begins with enacting those convictions in your daily life. It's not now to know what is right. You must doubt how is right consistently. This is where Stoic practice becomes invaluable. More Fadi, loving fate every day presents opportunities to exercise virtue. A difficult conversation, that's an opportunity to practice your courage and justice. A moment of frustration, an opportunity to practice emotional moderation. A chance to help someone in need is another opportunity to put justice into action. The key is to consciously choose the virtuous response. Even when it's difficult, start small. Choose one virtue to focus on each week. Consciously look for opportunities to practice it. Review your day at night. Where did you succeed? Where did you fall short? What can you do differently? Tomorrow, this consistent, intentional practice is what builds inner strength. It's what transforms you from someone who is reactive and vulnerable to someone who is proactive and resilient. Most powerful Stoic concept is about loving your fate. This doesn't mean being passive or accepting mistreatment. It means embracing everything life brings as raw material for growth and wisdom. Most people exhaust themselves fighting against reality, wishing things were different. Stoics align themselves with what actually happens and find ways tells it, as Epictetus taught. Don't seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will have smooth flow in life. This is arguably the most radical concept in Stoicism. Spend so much time resisting, complaining, wishing things were different. We fight against the current of life, exhausting ourselves in that process. What if instead we aligned dorsals with that current thoughts? What amorality is all about, it's the understanding that almost everything that happens in ordinary life can be viewed as a potential lesson and source of wisdom, even when it doesn't feel that way. This is something the Stoics related, and if they found value in it, you can too think about a time you faced A major setback, like the end of a meaningful relations. Your initial reaction was likely disappointment, anger, maybe even despair. But what if instead of dwelling in those negative emotions, you skied yours fell foot? Can I learn from this? How can it grow? From this present focus and mindful observation point here is to reframe your perspective. You have a great human mind, so use it this moment is about using your mind to recognize every challenge as an opportunity for growth, for resilience, for wisdom. Every obstacle is a chance to become stronger, more adaptable, more aligned with our values. Epictetus put it well when he said, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will have a smooth flowing life." Success in this life is about aligning your desires with the reality of the world. When you practice are more fadi, you stop wasting energy on things you can't control. You free yourself from the percent of resentment and regret. You become more adaptable, more resilient, more mentally tough. You learn to see the good in every situation. Even when it's hidden beneath layers of difficult, you better prepare yourself for living in the moment. As Stoics, living in the present is something we try to do the core. Principle here is simple focus on the present to eliminate anxiety about future and regret about the past. It will make you stronger, and being stronger is what we set out here to do. If you want to stay consistently in the present, then one of the most effective ways you can do that is to practice a mindful observation. This means paying attention to your thoughts and emotions as they arise, but without getting swept up in them. Imagine or watching a river flow. The thoughts and emotions are like leaves floating on the surface. You observe them as they pass, acknowledge their presence a bit. Don't jump in and try to grab them. This takes practice. When a negative F pops up, like anger at a friend or an embarrassing moment, resist the urge to immediately analyze it or criticize yourself instead. Simply notice that thought. I'm having a thought giving off a hot feeling of anger. Feel the emotion that accompanies it. It's making me anxious. Key is to observe without judgment and label the thought as stupid or the emotion as weak. Just acknowledge its existence and let it pass. This creates a space between you and your thoughts in the Stoic combat system, feelings giving you more control over your reactions. Marcus Aurelius had a teaching for this: concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, dimly, willingly, with justice. Think about the weight of those words. He went alone in a cave or relaxing on a beach. He was leading an army, governing an empire, and dealing with the daily challenges of being a human being, and yet he found the power to focus on the task at hand, to bring his full attention to each moment. By focusing energy on what you can do right now, you reduce anxiety and regret, while increasing long-term effectiveness. You increase your mental toughness and brace yourself for life's next strike. And when life hits back, the Stoics developed a system for navigating challenges without losing their strength. The Stoics weren't Navy optimists. They understood the world can be chaotic and frustrating place, but they developed a combat system, if you will, for navigating those challenges with losing your inner strength. Let's take one example: mental paralysis. It's that feeling of being stuck, overwhelmed by a problem so big you can't even bring yourself to address it. Stoicism offers a simple yet powerful antidote: action, any action, even a tiny step. Why? Because action creates momentum. It shifts you from being a passive victim to an active participant. Another example: insults. Someone says something rude and unfair or downright mean. How do you react? Most often insults sting because you give them power. We allow some emails opinion to dictate our self-worth. Stoics teach us to evaluate insults rationally. Is there any truth to what's being said? If so, can I learn from it? If not, then it's simply noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, incense, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them duetto. Other people's ignorance of what is good or evil. It's not easy, but you can prepare yourself with the right frame. Often, ultimately, external criticism is not Define you, your worth isn't determined by the opinions of others. It's determined by your own virtue, by your commitment to living a life of integrity, wisdom, and justice. Focus on what you can control: your actions, your thoughts, your character, and let the rest go. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoics, put it this way: how long are you going to wait before you? Demand the best for yourself. That is core of the Stoic combat. System ending the best for yourself, not by seeking external validation, but by cultivating inner strength and living in accordance with your values. Dealing with loss, you will face insults, opposition, and loss in this lifetime. It's unavoidable, but with the right mindset, you can triumph, you can overcome, and you can win yet. If there is victory, there must also be loss. That part is often devastating, luckily. Stoicism offers us a powerful framework for surviving loss and evening it. As fuel for growth, the key is understanding what's truly within your control. Say you've lost a dear possession like your car, the Stoic doesn't deny that pain yet. Even without it, you still possess your skills, your experience, and your network, all assets that no one can take away from you. It may cost money, but you can work to earn it, and eventually, you can replace it. Remember, as Seneca so wisely pointed out, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. We fear loss as if it's permanent, forgetting that everything, even our suffering, is temporary. Reflect that today's bad feeling and today's pain won't last forever. Every action you take moves you to a better future, and in the process, your mental muscles grow stronger. Your ability to deal with adversity becomes superpower. Do what you can to become mentality day by day. Every day you can start with a morning reflection. This is about setting clear intentions rooted in virtue. What kind of person does you want to be today? Set a goal and aim for it. At the same time, mentally still yourself for the punches life throws. Daily practices then. During the day, practice mindful action throughout the day. This is where a Stoic rubber meets the road. It's about consciously applying Stoic principles in real time. Ask yourself at all times, is this action aligned with virtue? Don't underestimate the power of your evening review. Before you drift off to sleep, take a few minutes to reflect on your day. What went well? Where did you stumble? Don't beat yourself up over mistakes, but instead view them as learning opportunities, and also celebrate your progress no matter how small. Let's take a final real life example. Imagine you're driving and someone cuts you off. Anger might flare up. That's a natural human reaction. The Stoic isn't going to pretend they aren't angry. They acknowledge the feeling, but then they ask themselves, is this anger serving me? Is it helping me navigate the situation? Usually the answer is no, so they choose to respond with reason and composite, preventing the anger from becoming recessive. Now you have a recipe, a basic plan. You see what toughness is, how you can build it, and what steps you can take to support it. Now let's distill everything we've covered into a few key principles can use to fortify your mind in day-to-day life. Think of these as stepillars supporting the temple of your inner strength. Conclusion: the core principle sect, what you cannot control. Train yourself to recognize the difference between your sphere of influence and of everything else. Focus 100% of your energy on what you can actually change. Live by virtue. Let wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation guide your decisions when you act according to your deepest values. External circumstances lose their power to destabilize you. Prepare for adversity. Use negative visualization to mentally rehearse challenges. This builds resilience and eliminates the shock factor when difficulties arise. Embrace your fate. See every experience, good and bad, as raw material for growth. Stop fighting reality and start using it to become a stronger. The key is consistency, not perfection. Start with one practice, build to habit, then add another. This is just about reading philosophy. It's about transforming how you navigate life challenges. You can do it. Just try to become mentally tougher every day and then enjoy the life you've built.